Well, hello out there again.
Hello.
I'm Jacob,
And I'm LaShawn.
and together this is Marriage Talk
With
Jacob and LaShawn.
So I want to thank every one of you out there who has been following us on Facebook and also viewing our videos out on YouTube. We want to thank you so much for providing that support to us, and we hope that you all are being blessed. And we just really hope that the videos and the teachings are inspiring and encouraging you in your relationships that you already currently have, or relationships to come. And so we don't take it lightly that you guys take that time to, view our videos. And also, we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be able to share our years of experience with you all in marriage and in relationship. So we thank you all for allowing us to come into your homes, on your phones, and we just really appreciate that. And we just want to say thank you so much for your support and your feedback, and also our posts during the weeks that we put out our quotes. So we just want to say thank you so much. We keep those coming. We appreciate that so much. It does encourage us to continue to go on for a mandate that God has provided to us.
And so on this edition of Marriage Talk with Jacob and LaShawn, we want to talk about communication.
Yes.
How communication makes the marriage work. It's just impossible. We found out firsthand that unless you communicate, it's really impossible to have a good, healthy marriage, relationship.
Yes.
You got to talk about it. You got to set those times. I'm down, and communication should not be just something that we are doing just when we need to make those concrete decisions.
Right.
But if we are really friends talk, friends laugh and friends have fun.
Yes.
All of that is a part of communication.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why building a friendship within the marriage is so important, because with friendship comes, good dialogue. It comes good communication.
Right.
It's being real with one another. It's sharing the things you do like about each other, the things you may not
like
understand
so
and you don't like.
Right.
But at least you are communicating with each other, and you're really getting to know each other.
Right.
And so on yesterday, I posted a quote on communication. And it says that communication is a two-way process of reaching mutual understanding, in which participants not only exchange information, news, ideas, and feelings, but also create and share meaning. And that word create is very important right there. But you also create and share meaning. And so in a marriage, through communication, we are creating a healthy marriage. And it also says sharing meaning. Also, we bring meaning to our marriage. Why did we get married?
Right.
But, only way we're going to know this is through our communicating with one another, learning the different personalities of one another, so we can create this good, healthy relationship that we can model for our families. We can model for in front of our children and friends. We can model in our neighborhood. We can model this healthy marriage, but it starts with good, healthy communication.
Right. And so today our topic is basically how communication makes a marriage work. And so a lot of times people are married, but they don't really communicate.
Right.
They just kind of go on assumption. But communication a lot of times is, one of the biggest breakups and really issues that people have in relationships, because they don't really talk to each other. They don't really dialogue, and they don't feel comfortable, going back and forth, or, sharing their heart or their true feelings.
And assumption is the worst form of communication.
Absolutely. So, having a great communication, having a great open dialogue with your husband or your spouse or your significant other is vital.
Right.
Because a lot of times when people do communicate, they talk about all the things that they assume that the other person
might know and
have,
should know.
right. And so of course we all
and they don't know.
we don't have telepathy, but we all most of us, of course, if you're a Christian, you have discernment. But still we can't use that to communicate on a daily basis
Right,
with one another.
right.
So I have a definition here of communication that says the means of sending or receiving information. And there are certain types of communication, of course. The first one is oral.
Right, where we talk
where
about
we
it.
talk,
Right.
all the time. Then we have our nonverbal.
Right. Our
and,
behavior, the way we act,
absolutely,
the way we respond.
right. And then we have our written
Right.
communication, and of course, we can write to each other, we text, we email, we do all this stuff today.
One of the things we always do is if we get a birthday card, or if we get a Mother's Day card, a Father's Day card, in addition to what's in there,
Right.
we are going to write something
Right. We always
for
write
each
our
other,
true feelings
right
about
inside
how we
there.
feel.
And we're going to pick something, we're going to pick a card that's
Right.
sort of expressing
Sure.
the way we feel about
Right.
each other. But in addition to that, we're going to also write
Right.
something.
So we kind of customize it from our own words versus whatever's in the card as well. Another type of communication is listening.
Oh, very important.
And so, of course, people have arguments all the time because they say, well, he or she doesn't listen to me when I'm speaking, or they didn't understand what I said,
And you got to practice listening.
Absolutely.
Intentionally, because a whole lot of times we want to get our point across, we want to be heard. And so intentionally, we have to train ourselves to just stop, be quiet, and allow our spouse to talk.
Yes.
Even if we don't agree or we don't understand, we have to make sure intentionally that we are listening to
Right.
one another.
Right.
Because here again, we can assume that you notice or you feel this way.
Right.
But if I just listen to you
Right.
and listen to your feelings and listen to you telling me, no, this is how I feel about this issue, about this situation, then now I really know.
Right.
But that means I got to listen.
Yes.
We got to listen to
Yes.
each other.
Yes. And I mean, we've had disagreements where, like, I won't stop to listen and you wouldn't stop to listen. And we had to learn that, we can't hear what the other person is saying unless
We listen.
we stop and listen.
Right.
So, listening is very important because when I know that you're listening, then I understand that you understand how I feel and whatever I'm trying to express to you.
Right.
You can be able to better say, you know what, okay, now I think I got it.
And I'm showing you that I respect you.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Right.
I value your opinion.
Absolutely.
I value the way you feel about it.
Right.
When I take the time, to just stop
Yes.
and listen to you.
Yes. Yes.
That's very much one of the ways that we can show each other how much we respect and we honor,
Yes.
yes. The gifts that we bring
Right.
Individually to the marriage, to the team.
Right. And our last part of our types of communication is a visual communication.
Right.
So,
right.
Visually, the way we communicate to each other, has a lot to do with our, our body language.
Right.
And, because you could be talking to me, but my eyes can be all in
Right.
the ceiling. So, it's like, okay, I'm looking at you. And that kind of ties in with the nonverbal.
Right.
Like I'm not listening to you and you can go ahead and talk, but I'm not receiving what you're saying,
Right.
So
And it shows visually I'm communicating when you see me putting in the work.
yes.
In the relationship. You hear me saying one thing, that's good. And I could spend money and do things like that.
Sure.
But also, you know, when you see me go outside and I'm cleaning your car, you see me go outside and I'm cutting the grass, and I see you preparing food and things, I'm seeing the love, I'm seeing the respect, I'm seeing, you know, how you honor the relationship, and you want to take the time to make sure that we have a good, healthy marriage. I'm actually seeing you doing these things. You see me doing these things. And so now we are communicating,
right,
you know, with each other. That's a very good means of communication.
right.
In Proverbs chapter number 11, verse number 14 says, where no counsel is, the people fall. In other words, where no communication is, the people fall. But, and it goes on to say, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. That's one of the reasons that we believe that God has given us a mandate to now, you know, not only model what we have accomplished in our marriage over these years, but this is one of the reasons why we have started Marriage Talk with Jacob and LaShawn, because it says in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. So every time you guys look at our videos and you're hearing the dialogue that we are having with one another, you know, you're looking at over, well, just 29 years in marriage, but over 30 years in a relationship where, you know, we had to work through the rough times, and then we are at this point, and, you know, now we are at this point right here. And anytime you want to accomplish anything in your life, you know, you need mentors in your life, and you want to pick those mentors based upon they have already done it. You know, the Bible says it like just say the blind can't lead the blind. You know, so when you want to accomplish, you know, this task, you know, who better to get than someone that has already accomplished that task. And by you guys out there that are already married, you're considering marriage, you're in the early part of your marriage, you know, looking at these videos, you're actually getting mentored from us who have already done it, and we are still doing it. And matter of fact, I think it's the last weekend of this month right here, we are going to a 2-day marriage workshop, you know, because just like with an automobile, you got to make sure you're changing the oil and doing those different things that's maintenance to keep up the upkeep of the car. Marriage is no different. You know, good marriages don't just happen. You know, they happen intentionally through work. Faith without works is dead. You know, so we got to put in the work. We got we got a couple of more minutes before we need to get out of here.
So one element of a good communication is to be polite and considerate. Treat your partner with the same basic respect you show toward acquaintances. And we have Proverbs 11:3 that we kind of want to use to
go over. And we're going to go over it today, but you can go over because of time's sake, you know. And then the second one is stop and think before commenting on things that bother you. You know, decide not to bring up issues unless they are really important. You know, we got to make sure that we take the time to stop before what we say, you know, because think about it, because once I release the word, you know, I can't pull it back. There's a scripture in the Bible that says a fool vents all his feelings. You know, whatever he's feeling, he is saying, you know, but I can't operate in life through that way. You know, I got to make sure that I consider what I'm saying and how is this going to affect the hearer. So we need to stop right here. We're about running out of time. We know what we have said today is some good information, and we got some more good information on the subject of communication that we are going to come back with on next Sunday
Right.
on how communication
Right.
makes the marriage work.
So our two, we just went over 2 elements of a good communication today, and on next week when we return, we'll continue on how good communication makes a marriage work. So we hope that today that we have given you maybe some little homework. You can just go over Proverbs 11:3 and then Proverbs 29 and 11. To really help you, and then just remember the different types of communication as we've spoken about: oral, nonverbal, written, listening, and visual communication. Again, if you like what you've heard today, just let us know on Facebook, and also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that will also help you to be able to view our videos that we have done in the past. So we want to thank you today for your time, and we hope that you have a blessed rest of your day, and just remember to take care and love one another, and we'll see you guys on next week.
Be blessed.